Hi everyone, New England Gardening here, inside obviously, but surrounded by the Vermillionaire or cigar plant cuttings that I started months back, and they're really starting to take off now. They've got flowers on them, and they're hard to keep up with the watering. I have them on the windowsill in the kitchen on a south-facing window. So I ended up with 6 Vermillionaire cuttings. I think I had 1 or 2 failures, and a bunch of the cuttings just never rooted. Also, that I had in water, that never even formed roots. And I purchased a plant last year. That's in a clay pot, so I'm just going to leave it where it is. It's actually a lighter green color than these because it gets partial direct sun, and I have to turn the pot occasionally, and it only gets the sun later on in the day. And it's a little spindly. I was thinking of putting it outside today because it's supposed to get to 60 degrees, just to toughen it up, because it's, like I said, it's very, very light green and very leggy branches that it's putting out. So they need to be toughened up with a little wind resistance. But real quick, I just wanted to get some red hot poker seeds in the ground. I planted red hot poker seeds last winter, I think. And the plants were able to mature where it could have been the summer. They might have gone through a summer before, trying to remember, but they put out 2 flower spikes, an earlier one and then a later one going into the fall. So the first spike put out seed pods. What happens is they start to open up, and then they'll just spill out onto the ground right below the plant. So as they started, I did wait for them to dry out. They were in these pods here. I don't know if you can see that. And then they split open and they drop the seed. So those I, removed before cold temperatures arrived. And then to my surprise, I didn't expect another spike, and it flowered. And I left them on through the first initial frost that we had until they were starting to dry out and open up. But they require stratification. I think that's the word. So I've had these in the fridge on the door for months now, and I wanted to start these earlier in February and just kept on procrastinating. So, like these plants, this is the strongest growing one. I don't know if probably I could prune these and start propagating the cuttings just from the cuttings. But yeah, the plant that I purchased last year and had in a pot on an upside down utility bucket, those buckets you get from the hardware store, because I was afraid the rabbits would try to nibble on it. The bees and the hummingbirds were fighting over this. I want to say the hummingbirds would go for this more than the feeder that I had out. Is that nectar? What is that? It's water? I just did water these, or a couple of them that were light. It's hard to keep up with the watering because of the roots. If I show you this one real quick. I don't know if you can see. It's the section here that's, exposed to the sun, I'm kind of concerned about, but looks like it's getting covered with moss or some type of algae. So not to get sidetracked, I want to just put something on the windowsills. I don't want to have an elaborate setup with the expense of grow lights. I have some lights, fluorescent lights. I don't have, an LED setup, and I don't want to grow too much. I don't want to plant more tomatoes than I need. I might just have a couple of plants. I have cherry tomatoes. I don't want to go out and purchase, I know this is what a lot of people do, myself included. Plant too much, we start too many seeds, get plants we don't know what to do with. But this is something that once they're established, this red hot poker, I have it, where I put it gets really intense sun in the summertime, and it's sandwiched between a driveway and a little patch that's maybe 2 feet wide and 8 feet, maybe 10 feet long, between the house and the driveway asphalt. So during the wintertime, it does get covered over with snow for protection. I put a little fence around it, gardening fence, and put leaves around it that has settled. But I guess one of the problems with these plants is that they can get crown rot. Moisture settles in, and then, excuse me, I had a cough. Moisture settles in and will start rotting through the crown, and plant will not survive. I planted some mature plants of a species that had a shorter stalk, and they were large plants, but they did not produce any spikes. So I'm not certain what's up with them. They're very large right now, and they've survived. I don't know if it's just they needed to be more mature, or I don't know if there's a biannual type of hot poker, but this particular variety had a shorter, because you have to stake the stalks on these, because it's so long, and if it's a single plant, not surrounded by anything else, it will break in wind. Will have a tendency to have a problem without any support. So what I've done is I have a soldering iron that I was able to use, and I melted some holes in this. This might have been a mushroom tray from the grocery store, and then store brand like coleslaw or macaroni salad container for a little dish here to catch any excess water. I just took these out of the fridge. These here I spent time, there's more seeds outside pods, not in pods. And I'm just going to put them in this small container and see what I get for propagation rate or success. And then I'll just gingerly, take them out as they mature a little bit and put them into their own individual. But for now, I just want these to get into soil. And that way, I don't want to, it's just an empty seed pod. I was trying to look online. In nature, these are just going to fall on the surface and or get cast out by the wind. These pods aren't something that the wind's going to carry anywhere. They just split open and drop. And I think they do put out rhizomes, and so you can divide these plants. So it'll be sort of like foxglove. You know, we get plants developing right next to the mother plant. So actually, I have a lot of seeds here. So I'm just going to cast these out on the surface, and I'm not too concerned about too much crowding, and I might put a small amount of this is a seed starter mix, and I put a little on top, but for now I just wanted to get some progress, get these. How are these? These are all just bare. Can't save them all. So yeah, that's just crack these open. I don't even know if there's, those don't look, those pods might be unsuccessful in seed development on the second. Spike that came up. I don't really see, I just grabbed these without, when I removed them, looks like these either did not, well, that makes sense. Maybe they didn't have pollinators later in the season. But then, well, yeah, it developed the flower, but just, yeah, there doesn't seem to be any seeds in these. This set is different. Okay, well, maybe it's the glare from the lights. I'm not, well, maybe this is a seed right here. There's one. So I don't want to go on, I'll go through these. I've got plenty of seeds in the soil, and I'm just interested to see what the germination is on these. Did it before. Didn't seem to be too difficult. Yeah, this is African violet that I started from a cutting. It's getting very unmanageable. I'm going to cut these flowers off. They become a real mess. They drop their little petals on the windowsill, and they're drying out real quick. Another plant I started from seed. I just wrote this down because I had torn off the top when I took out the seeds and just left partial name. I believe this is Pelargonium peltatum, ivy geranium. And another reason I bought this was supposed to be a hummingbird attractant. It's got, you would normally, I guess, put this in a hanging pot. Again, this isn't a window. It's got these buds starting to come up. Haven't had any trouble, and typical smell, I just handle this. It's like when you brush against a tomato, you brush against a geranium, it has a distinct geranium smell. Dark green. I had some initial problems with aphids that all of a sudden appeared, and I'm like, oh, here we go. I'm going to have problems with aphids, and I grabbed some neem oil, which I never really have success with, especially like on citrus trees that I once had with cottony scale. But I think the trick is, I know you're supposed to do it anyways. The trick is to put a little squirt of dish detergent in with this. And I have it in a spray bottle, and I just caught I've been knocking them down. They've been disappearing. I haven't seen anything recently within the week, but maybe a week and a half ago, I noticed one of these had some aphids that seemed to like to gather around the flower. Now this one, that's, I don't know if the camera's picking that up, that's nectar. That's why these are so popular with the hummingbirds. That is nectar dripping out, and it's sticky. Wow. I didn't think they put that much nectar out. It's 60 degrees today. The honeybees are flying. I bet these would attract honeybees. Wow, I never noticed that. So that's why they're so popular with hummingbirds. Hummingbirds are not even, they probably started their migration, but they're not going to be here until April, May, end of May. I forget. Last year when they arrived. But yeah, that was the plan, to have a lot of these Vermillionaires and hummingbird attracting plants. And although these aren't perennials, like I said, I was able to keep the plant alive. I chopped it down. It started to drop leaves. When I made the transition into the house, I thought maybe I'd keep it in a cellar window, but it was too cool. And it started looking like it was stressed, so I just chopped it down. Kept these cuttings. I had a couple of failures, but just put them in water, just like I did with these blue African basil. And in fact, I've got another cutting that I took. I did have some, it was a potting mix. This is a seed starting mix. I had a potting mix, and I had it happen last year. I had to actually buy a new African basil because I took the cuttings and they rooted in water. When I went to transfer them to this potting mix, they did not like it. I don't know if it's a pH thing, but I believe this mix here, I put maybe more vermiculite in it, and I think they like to be dried out completely. But you can see it's a lighter green. This is a darker green, but I have one in another pot, and I had 3 of them I put in all together instead of a single stem. And all of a sudden, it had aphids, so I had to really spray it with the neem oil. But one died, and then I cut back on the watering. The 2 were barely hanging in, but I forget where I think I took a cutting off of this. Yeah, this had grown to like this size here with the long stems. And let me go get that. And I might get that pot of the mother plant for the Vermillionaire just real quick in the video. But that's it for this. I'm going to pat this down, water it, and just put it on the windowsill along with these Vermillionaires that I'll put back on the windowsill after this video. Okay, so I'm back real quick. Here is the mother plant that I purchased online last year, and went through the whole summer and was a favorite of the hummingbirds. You can see, I just noticed one of the branches, I don't know if the camera can pick that up, has flowers on it, but I don't know if I might have to prune that early in the spring. I forget the name of it. There's an interesting plant in there. It's a long, silvery leafed bonus plant that somehow snuck into this here. It has nice trailing foliage that hangs off of the pot that I had elevated, made it all the way to the ground and then some. And I was planning on separating it. I forget the name. I located it by searching for that. But here is just recently. So I had this maybe 2 weeks now, and then this week, this is the second week probably, or the third week, and it just really started taking off. They just really easy to root. And yes, I have to put that in, plan on putting that into soil. So, and I grabbed this as another geranium. I have a couple in pots like this. I'm going to get some hanging baskets and then hang them up. Maybe get a hummingbird to nest in one of these pots. But yeah, that about wraps it up. A lot of little side plants. Initially, I just wanted to do a video on me finally getting these seeds into soil. That's probably more than half the battle. And I'll go through these pods here, see if there's more seeds. So this is New England gardening. And what is today? It's Thursday. Is it the 13th of March? Or the 11th or something like that. But yeah, this is New England gardening. Some of the plants that I have inside, and finally got my red hot poker seeds in soil. So it's a nice bright sunny day today. Honeybees are flying. There are crocuses coming up. So hopefully they'll get some pollen and some nectar and start building the hives back up. So this is New England Gardening. Thanks for watching. Until next video. Bye.